Welcome to our Emuna is Our Future with Welcoming Souls. We are excited to be in our home studio. It's a pleasurable, wonderful, amazing day today in the 3 weeks. Every day here is special. We've discussed that we're going to go into it, hopefully the coming Parsha, Matos Masai, for you guys and for the world and for us in the holy Yerushalayim and holy Eretz Yisrael, which is where I'm based in the Holy Land. We're going to discuss Matos this week and next week Masai. So we'll just have a quick little reminder that there's 42 journeys that we go on in life that spans the whole journey of a human soul in this world. And we're welcoming all the different souls that we encounter during those journeys. Once again, we'll discuss in more detail the journeys next week. But for now, let's join our continuation of today's class with Mordechai ben Avram. It was amazing to be there together and to journey onwards towards our soul level, which is united soul, which is all of the Emuna is our future focus, because in order to be able to get to that inner place, we have to, one, learn. Very important. We're going to keep up our learning Seder of the New Light from Rav Shalom Arush. One of our wonderful friends. Shalom, dear Rav Laser. Yes, thank you. On YouTube. Apologize if the YouTube's not 100% clear. I'm not in my studio, so sometimes the Wi-Fi is not as good quality. Thank God the Facebook looks fine. And remember, we always have the audio going out. Thank God the edited classes on our breslev.com are going live. We just had the Avi Abelo, the previous week's class. It does take a little bit longer. That's one of the challenges of doing it without a studio team, only a minimal skeleton version, Daga himself, and the wonderful workers in our yeshiva and team have finally put up last week's class with the edited quality version. Nevertheless, once again, you can always listen to it live here on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, plus the audio. So we're trying to do the best we can to get all the content out on all our platforms in a way that's inspiring, and it's with a welcoming energy. We want to welcome all kinds of people, like we had Avram and Mordechai ben Avram. Yeah, literally Avram. Avi Abelo is Avram. And we're constantly opening our tent, like Avram Avinu, to all the different kinds of people. And remember, Avram Avinu's tent was open on all four sides. That was the idea of hospitality that all the Jewish world and Arab world both inherited, and from our forefather Avram Avinu. We are now, right now, as we said, in Matos, in the Holy Land. You guys, I think, are still getting to Pinchas ben Elazar Cohen, and I probably am a descendant from Pinchas, and we should realize that there's a lot of soul level going on. If, for example, in Parshas Pinchas, he takes on the form of Elionovi, Zochar Tov. That's why you guys, even though it's during the 3 weeks now, so you won't be reading the Haftorah, but we did in the Holy Land, and Elionovi is revealed as a continuation from the Parsha, the Elio, the prophet, Elijah the prophet, and there's a connection. The Neshama level of Pinchas continues on in the form of Elionovi. He reaches that eternal form that goes through all the ages, is at all our bris kodesh, all our simchas, we see shalom. This is the concept that we are an eternal people. We have a soul level, and the beautiful thing is that we heard from Mordechai ben Avraham that there are many souls out there, Rabbi Mordechai ben Avraham, that many kinds of souls who are joining our people or discovering the truth of the Torah nowadays that was always there and was revealed and available. But throughout history, we've had our ups and downs, and therefore we are now returning to that clear level of truth and revelation, especially before Mashiach, before the Messiah comes and reveals, or the messianic energy that's in the world right now, the end of days. As we said, Simone Mashiach, there's a lot of signs of the end of days right in front of our eyes, right in our pockets, literally affecting us as inflation hits and wages are not enough to cover daily life. So we are generally in a more struggled situation. There are obviously some people who are escaping it still, but everyone's affected, as we're all, in the end, one human experience, and the world is going through a lot of turmoil. Someone just reached out to me now, would we like to include Ukraine for supporting their situation for a concert that I've just booked for Moshe Reuven, my first booking with this wonderful artist and a wonderful soul who's hopefully going to inspire a lot of people as time goes on. And we're just beginning to work and UnityBookings flow. Obviously Listen Black is performing there as well, so I'm still working with him and the team. Gave a big shout out to the promoters that he'll be able to be a big draw and be a big inspiration. To thank God that came together. And then we have all the wonderful other artists. I did an update on my Unity Flow podcast. Check it out, and you can hear who are the wonderful souls I'm working with, including Mordechai Ben Avram, who today really gave over a good flow of his journey, The Mind of a Black Jew. And it's amazing that all of you can get his new book. Purchase it, no problem. We put the link on the Facebook Live and all the other posts underneath as many places as we could, as well as remind you to go to breslev.com, because we have an exciting initiative that took place, not because of me, maybe because of the consistency of our classes and Rav Orish pushing us all forth from the time of the tragedy of Meron, reminding us that Avos Yisrael is the key, the prayers of love. And even though the Rav is not emphasizing it as much, people themselves have taken up that initiative, and they're putting a 3-week campaign to get everybody to pray during these next 3 weeks. We already had the beginning part with the fast on Sunday, and we still have a good amount of time to go. So we should pray an extra 15 minutes a day for the love of all people. And that was Rav Orish's original campaign, even though he was pushing us all for 30 minutes. And you'll see in a minute when we learn this book that Rav Orish is always pushing us to that higher level, that higher madrega. And that connects into Matos. Matos is the continuation with Pinchas, where we see that there's a Muhammad, there's a war. We'll jump over the Nadarim bit because that's a little bit more complicated. I don't know if you ever learned that Masechta, but it's one of the hard ones in the Talmud and the Shas. So Pinchas ben Elazar Cohen leads the Mochama. He's the Cohen Ish Mochama, and he's the one who's chosen to finish off what he started when he took out Cosby and Zimri in the Pasha, the previous Pasha, at the end of Pinchas, and he continues that Mochama with the Midianites, who's already caused a tremendous destruction of 24,000 who passed away, and he continues that battle direct with Bilam himself, and takes out the Eitz's Bilam, takes him out, the advice of Bilam, the energy of Bilam, with the same sword that he threatened us. The sword or the mouth, he then literally takes care of him. So we see there's a certain continuation ability to fight for what we believe in, to stand up for what we believe in, and to stand strong. Nowadays, it's often a war online. This week I'll be going, actually tomorrow night, to see Ben Shapiro from Daily Wire. He's in Tel Aviv, and I'll be hearing him speak, first time in person. Excited to do that. And he's somebody who stands up. Not that I'm saying everything he says is how I hold. You know, once again, it's important in our generation, you have to make these silly disclaimers. You can listen to people without being a follower or being bottle mavutal to everything they say. You're able to develop an opinion yourself while still listening to all kinds of people and keeping your opinions and your outlook very broad, so you can absorb different outlooks, including Ben Shapiro's, which I think is very beneficial because he shows a lot of strength, a lot of savvy, a lot of business charm, and he's being able to put out one of the highest levels of media against the mainstream media, which is generally, unfortunately, missing out on a lot of real content nowadays. So thank God he's out there doing his thing, and I'll be seeing him live. And he's an example, in my opinion, of a Pinchas ben Elazar of our generation of standing up for the truth. And we had Avi below. We'll be posting his different parts on our Instagram, Unity Inspires project, and we're already going live on YouTube tonight. You can check out the full edited version, and it's already on our website, breslev.com. Hopefully the Mordechai ben Avram Rabbi Mordechai will come out quicker. It's all about welcoming souls, which is our theme today. Now, how do we bring souls to what we're doing? We have to be able to understand that souls are spiritual energies that are, in essence, the real true versions of ourselves, and our true etzem, our true internal version, the inner world, the inner reality of who we are. It's a spiritual experience, a spiritual understanding, and therefore we can't really explain it fully in the physical form of words, other than what we've been given from the Torah, from Hashem's revelation of spirituality that he put into the world through the Torah, how to describe all these spiritual aspects. We have the Messiah, we have the tradition of Kabbalah and mysticism and Hasidus, how to bring down the different levels of the soul, beautiful Sfarim like the Tanya, and obviously the Ketim Aharon, and all the general Sifrei Hasidus give us the guidance. Someone's here tonight. What time will you make tonight this year? So the tonight shir is already been recorded. It's going live tonight at 12 o'clock. That's Israel time. So work that out. Put it into Google. Write Israel time 12 o'clock and wherever you are, and you'll see very clear what time it will be wherever you're located. And so coming back to the concept of souls. So when we're praying and we're learning and we're joining together on a communal level, because that's very much a soul way of thinking, because it's not about me, it's not about ego. The soul level, that's more the physical level. The soul level is beyond the ego. It's the idea of iron, of being bottled. The ani becomes the same letters as iron, or Ein Sof, or Adon Olam is the same concept, the same numerical value. Yes, that's right. 12 o'clock tonight will be the full class from last week, the edited version. So people enjoy seeing it, the full version, rather than the Facebook Live or YouTube Live, where once again YouTube, it's not 100% clear the visual side of it, but that's all good. So let's go into now the new light. Let's see what Rav Shalom Arush, who he's not our host in the house, but he is our host on these networks. Let's please God learn this tefillah, learn it together with the Sata Dishma. We'll understand what Rav Arush is saying. And we already mentioned last week that in the last two classes we've had, the importance of praying, really using the tefillahs, the Shemona Esrei. Specifically, he mentioned, and we can go into each one. He does do that, but it's important to realize that the first b'vachasha, the first request, that we have in Shemona Esrei is Atay Chanein Adas, Hashem should graciously give us wisdom. That is the yesod, the foundation for all the rest of the prayers and all the ability to have clarity. Das, wisdom, knowledge, da'at, is fundamental for successful spiritual development and to really get clear who we are, what we are about, and to understand that we have a journey that no one else can do, a unique journey, and to have the clarity and the inspiration to fulfill that unique journey. So let's go. With some people, nothing will help. Okay. We can see Hashem has given me the opportunity to help Jews who come to me asking for advice regarding all sorts of problems. There are some, who after I advise them with a few short sentences immediately understand what they have to do. They leave happy and satisfied. This is all those wonderful meetings that we'd love to resume again with Rabbi Osh in person on our tours. He is able to give advice amazingly. I've witnessed it myself. They take the proper actions and pray at length. They solve the difficulties. These people have awareness and knowledge, so it's easy for them. But if a person lacks that knowledge, again, remember the das, the wisdom, it makes no difference how much one talks to him and encourages him or her. That barely lasts half an hour. Then he immediately reverts to his confused state. When everyone tells him falls on deaf ears because he lacks proper knowledge, what can you do with such a person? How is it possible to help him? Or her? How do we get that help we need? We're learning the new light. We are in page 363 already. There are many people, although they do not know me at all, have heard my classes and have reached Gan Eden, Garden of Eden, the Garden of Emuna. That's the whole concept. Your life becomes amazing, gewaldig, as they say in Yiddish, wunderbar in German or other languages. I don't know. Someone here will have to help me with all the languages. These are people who have knowledge and implement what they learn. Although they don't come to me personally after read one of my books, I hear one of my classes. They immediately understand the solution to all their questions. They're invigorated, they go to work and they pray. Their life flows smoothly and becomes the Garden of Eden. Who doesn't want to live in the Garden of Eden? Remember, we're waiting for Mashiach to come, then it will be revealed for the whole world. But there's a concept that tzaddikim, like Rav Shalom Arush and other tzaddikim, Rabbi Nachman Befegel, Nachman ben Simcha, all the different tzaddikim go all the way back. They were in a state of Garden of Eden. They were in a sublime state. And people call it Zen nowadays, but I would say it's much deeper than that. They were going through challenges, but their das, their wisdom was so sublime, their mindset was in such a good way, and they did the process of tzaddikim, of praying and cleaning themselves spiritually, refining themselves, doing the inner work, that they no longer suffered in this world like a normal person or a general the world is going through right now, with a lot of mental illness, all this kind of stuff, they were able to rise above their challenges. And that's the kind of, this is the kind of advice Rav Rosh is giving us. Only Hashem graciously gives. On the other hand, some people learn Torah and pray for years. They've read all his books. They come to me over and over again. Rav Rosh is saying, with domestic problems, I ask myself, how is it possible that after being sat in his class and he hears so much in faith about Emuna, because faith is a very loose translation, Emuna, intrinsic belief, achieving peace in the home, and he's learned all his books and still far from knowledge. Some of these people don't seek my advice every day. I tell them, they do seek. They come every day. Imagine. So for years, Rav Rosh is getting people, tens, maybe hundreds, maybe even thousands. I don't have anything new to tell you, would tell them. It's all written in my books. What do you think? That I will come up with new advice for you? If my books don't help you, I can't do anything more for you. So, example, the book on Shalom Bias, we said that's, been controversial recently, but the Rav holds in the book very much, and the concept, and many of his students, and the concept of Garden of Peace, that he's saying, should I have to write a new book for every husband? And that's one of the things why it seems like it's not so simple for him just to revamp and rewrite his book. Some people want me to say that they're right and that what's written in my book doesn't apply to them. Want me to agree with them, to contradict myself, and tell them their behavior is justified. So what is the true answer to all the problems? Let's not get into the marriage book. Let's just get into the general concept of Das. And each of you, if you've seen success with it, go ahead. The true answer to these people come back again and again with the same problems. But don't say any change themselves. Is the blessing of he who graciously grants knowledge. In this blessing we say, you graciously give man knowledge and teach human beings understanding. You and only Hashem bestows knowledge. Anyway, we have an answer here. This is the answer to the marriage book question. Just read this book, A New Light. And he's clarified that by learning about it, Hashem is the one who's bestowing knowledge and praying for it. No rabbi, advisor, whoever it be, even the greatest rabbi in the world, can give a person knowledge. How do you get the knowledge? How do you get the internalized wisdom? How do you get the true connection? This is the key. Remember, Mordechai ben Abram saying people are looking for connection. So we have the way to connect in. It's a matter of prayer. It's a matter of learning. Even if a person does not have the proper awareness to receive wisdom, to understand it, and to live in accordance with what he has learned, it is impossible to help him. That explains why many people go to excellent advisors, see no results, because even if the advisor is a world-renowned expert, he cannot transmit awareness. Only the one who graciously grants knowledge can do that. And who's that? Hashem Yisbarach. He's the one, our Kodesh Baruch Hu, our Creator. He's the one who gives us the wisdom. It's not going to come from university. It's not going to come from even sitting and learning. He even says that. It's not enough just to learn Torah. You have to pray for it. You have to want Hashem to open up your heart and mind to the true wisdom. If you see that a book isn't helping you, that you are learning, praying and doing a spodidus, this does not help either. That means you lack knowledge. My dear reader, go to the one who graciously grants knowledge. Stand for him and plead for your life. Ask him to give you knowledge. So you see, it's a matter of life or death. To have knowledge is the key to everything. To have true das. People are suffering out of these. I saw some guy sitting on the street with a can of beer like 10 in the morning on my way to work. I was walking through the office just outside, and he's sitting there. And I think day after day, same dude. And he's like, obviously working some labor job or something. Respect to the hard laborers is a big thing. But the lack of das, you could see, like drinking beer at that time in the morning. That's not what a person should be doing. And you can see that it leads to a life of, smallness. Like he's sitting on the floor drinking a beer at that time, in boiling heat. Like we need to be more productive, even if we have a hard labor job. There's a way to do it with energy, pizzazz, the clothing, the way a person expresses himself. Once again, there's so many examples how das influences everything and the way we think, and it attracts the success. Like personally, I'm going through my struggles. I don't know if you guys are, but after hearing all the global crisis going on, you see that we all need to put our Emuna and das into everything we're doing, true knowledge into everything we're doing, so we can have the eights as the right advice, to be able to make a living, to be able to use our strengths and our skills successfully, etc. No other advice will help you. Why should you lose your life? You have an exact address to go to. Stand and plead with Hashem every day. Now this is where the campaign to love all people, Rav Rosh takes us to that half an hour level where most people are ready for maybe 15 or 10 Stand and plead with Hashem. Gedalia was telling me he does 5-10 minutes a day on the Avis as well, since Ravosh mentioned it. Stand with Hashem every day and spend half an hour on the blessing of He who graciously grants knowledge. Wake up and understand how much a person needs to plead and request proper knowledge. By the way, mentioning Gedalia Fenster, he will be in the Holy Land, and we'd love to be able to connect with him in person. So if you're listening, let's make it happen, Gedalia. Okay, and if any of his people are listening, do you have a problem? That is a sign you lack awareness and knowledge. Where you would get that awareness and knowledge, stand up and request it from the one above. Solve your problems, thereby tefillah. And even when a person does have true knowledge, you must plead with Hashem to help him attain more and more knowledge about his entire life. You must learn Torah and take every sort of action. But in the end, we must not forget that the main thing is to seek knowledge. Das, for the one who graciously bestows knowledge. So he's saying to stand there, and someone else is going to say, I don't have enough time. But if you do not pray for this knowledge, then everything else you do will be lacking. It's the concept of the das. Yeah, thank you, Rabbi, for these wonderful teachings. The das, the wisdom, the mindset. The world's getting this nowadays. Mindfulness is a big concept. You go through all these gurus and thought leaders, they're all understanding clearly that the way you think about things, this is going to be the game changer. The way you process challenges in your life, this is going to be the game changer. So I pray for all of us. I pray that we should be blessed with this true wisdom. I appreciate you joining us. Pinchas ben Elazar Cohen had the true wisdom to act, and he became a Cohen. The Olam became Eliyahu Novi, he became something part of eternity. So through the true knowledge, it changes everything. All of us had that ability, and realized that during these 3 weeks, the difficult times of tribulation, we're reading haftorahs of retribution and difficulty, but underneath those three haftorahs, 3 parshas, 3 weeks that we're going through is tremendous inner wisdom, inner light, inner truth. And it's up to us, Chochmah Bina Das, these 3 weeks, these 3 levels of wisdom, as Rav Sadiq says, tune into the inner light, the inner wisdom, the inner truth, the soul level. And that will give us the power when we're praying. We're praying for this inner wisdom. It will welcome all kinds of souls. We'll have the right advice. We'll have the ability to connect to all kinds of souls. The Torah is drawing us all close to true wisdom. It's a matter of us opening ourselves and our hearts to the true wisdom, and then we can really truly welcome all kinds of souls. Because what was Avram Avinu's thing? Mashiach now, our friend wrote, and he also wrote, thank you, I appreciate that. And its true knowledge is the Torah. Very good, that's the point. But what did Avram Avinu do? We open up his tent. We open up our channels every day. What's the concept? The thing he gave. Or Avram. It was the light of Avram Avinu. The light of Avram Avinu is the key. The energy, the light, the wisdom. That's the biggest gift you can give to a person. Even though physically giving them food and drink, supporting Ukraine, or whatever it is, whatever cause you find. But helping Das. That's why it's so important to partner with Emunalive.com, partner with Rav Shalom Morish and all his institute, partner with my own classes, my tour, thank God, Be'ezrat Hashem, the UnityBookings, bringing souls together, all the different souls, welcoming all kinds of souls to our studio, to our classes. This is the kind of mindset that we want, but it has to come together with giving people more light, lifting them up a little bit, elevating their mindset, elevating their way of being, giving the ability that their daily life is more impactful, more empowered, more uplifted. This is the kind of headspace that we're helping with the Das, and we need to pray for that ourselves, and Rav Osh teaching us that from the New Light book. But we also need to share that. It's something which is a responsibility, especially nowadays. More than ever, people need Das, people need true wisdom, not all this confused crap online, excuse my language. We need to tune in to the true wisdom that's within Chochmah Bina Das, tremendous wisdom, understanding, knowledge. These 3 weeks, that's the hidden light that's within these 3 weeks. And then we go off into the 7 weeks after that. That's the Sphira Elyonim, these divine emanations that come down during these 10 weeks, from these 3 weeks through the 7 weeks up till we get to Rosh Hashanah. And then Rosh Hashanah is the Rosh again. Then we get to the clarity of Rosh Hashanah Yom Kippur Sukkot, the fixed version of Chochmah Bina Das. Right now we're in the exiled version of Chochmah Bina Das, of these 3 levels of wisdom. We're in the Goddess version, the exile version, and when we get through this whole time, we come to Rosh Hashanah Yom Kippur Sukkot, we get to the Geula version, the fixed version of true wisdom, true understanding that Hashem is the Melech, and that He purifies us with understanding, true Bina, Tshuva, and then we come to Das, the Sukkah is all about Das, knowing Hashem, coming one with the wisdom, the eitzes of the Sukkah, the eitzim, the wood, everything. This is the fixed version, but we have to first start now, these 3 weeks, and that's why the Tzaddikim, they were living in Gan Eden. Why were they living in Gan Eden? Why are they living in Garden Eden? Says the Ohr of Yisrael. Says these 3 weeks are really, especially with Parshas Pinchas and Moedim, that you guys just are reading this week and we read already last week. They have within it the light of Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur, Sukkot. All the Chagim are within these 3 weeks: Pesach, Shavuos, Sukkot. The 3 Shabbos, or the other way of learning Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur, Sukkot. The energy, the light of the Zman, of the time, and bringing it together with the people, with the personalities of these parshas, of Pinchas and Aaron HaKohen is going to be his Yotzai, the man of Ohev Shalom, Rodev Shalom, bringing Koved Asfasecha, bringing together all the souls of the Jewish people, protecting them in Anei Koved, bringing the Koved, the soul, the glory of the soul of human reality, bringing it out in a real way that brought peace to people, brought love to people. And that's the kind of inner wisdom that changes everything. The more we have this clarity to understand, Ohev Yisrael was living the 3 weeks as if it was Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur, Sukkot. Those 3 special spiritual times of fixed wisdom, he was already there in these 3 weeks. And that's the idea that Ola Asa, the future light, the Emunah is our future light, this light that's coming down right now, in the present, is helping assist us welcome all the souls and realize that the Tzaddikim were fixing up souls through their prayer, through their learning, and there were souls who are no longer living, souls who are alive now, they're able to influence in the dream world. There's all different ways to connect to souls, to understand the language of the soul, to be able to speak to your soul, to be machazik, to inspire a soul, to energize a soul. These are kind of tools we need to start working on together, learning through it. And the Sira Vorah, she's teaching us that wisdom is one of the foundational places to begin. Das, true knowledge. This is where it matters. Okay, everyone should be blessed. Shabbos is a day filled with das. We're going to be getting ready, please God, next few days towards Shabbos Kodesh, the first of the 3 weeks, which is officially the 3 weeks. And we're going to, please God, elevate everything with the Shabbos Kodesh. Yeah, as it says, the Be'emek HaBocha, that during the Bein HaMitzrayim, the Shabbos are the biggest Shabbos of the whole year, because these 3 weeks, that each Shabbos we're going into the Valley of Tears during the week, and then we come out to the high, elevated level of Shabbos till we get to the biggest Shabbos of the whole year, Shabbos Chazan. We'll talk about that hopefully another 2 weeks from now. Let's join, let's keep growing, enjoy these special gifts during this difficult time, because underneath, with the right mindset, it's really a time of gifts and light and truth and growth and wisdom and true connection to the Shekhinah Kadosh and to Hashem Yisbarach, and to see the unification of all the souls of the whole world. B'mhei v'meinu, Amen. Thank you for listening. Please share, check out the links in the description, and much love.